Hello and welcome. I am Jen Martinez and I'm here to talk about 5 easy tips to help you detox your home and your life. So to get started, we all want to be healthy, right? I think we can all agree that nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I really want to be unhealthy today, or I really want to do something that is going to alter my health in a really harmful way, right? But what does that mean? It could be different for every single person. There are some key common denominators that are really hard to dispute. For instance, exercise is important for healthy living, right? Of course, it is. Getting enough sleep is important. Drinking enough water is important. You know your body is mostly water, right? So making sure that you stay hydrated each and every day is very, very important. Eating whole foods is important. Eliminating processed or empty foods, reducing stress. All of these things are very basic rules for living a healthy life. But did you know that there's actually another level to living your healthiest life? And it's not just about the foods that you eat or how much exercise you're getting, how much sleep you're getting, how much water you're drinking, but a key and often overlooked important element to healthy living is also the environment in which we live in. So what exactly does that mean? Basically, taking out all toxins, or at least those that you can affect, out of your environment will allow your body to experience full function. This means removing toxins out of your diet and your household. And the good news is that you have full control over both, right? So we assume that everyone wants to be chemical free and we assume that they know how to get there, but that simply isn't true. So before we continue, I want you to first know, I want you to believe, and I want you to understand that you are in charge of your body. You have to take personal responsibility for your health and for the health of your family. Do your own research. Be your own expert. You figure out what's good for you and your family. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to treat, diagnose, cure, prescribe, or heal you. My goal is just to educate you on easy steps that you can take to get complete, whole health. All right? So the cost of being chemical free is really daunting for some. So if it's very overwhelming for you, don't do it all at once. Just start wherever you think is most important. We use a lot of products in our house that are highly concentrated, and so they wind up being cheaper per ounce, and a little bit goes a really, really long way. So let's go ahead and get started. Did you know that there are actually 30 ways to poison yourself before breakfast? I know it seems extreme and some people might look at me like I'm crazy, but it is likely that the personal care products that you're using, even though they say that they are healthy, green, or clean, they could contain some sort of toxin or a variety of chemicals that are damaging to your body. Women use nearly 200 toxic ingredients in their everyday routine, and men use about 100. Obviously, women use more because of makeup and hairspray and all the things. But even in mild forms, they build up and they stay in your body, storing in your cells and breaking down your immune systems. And our health stems from good gut health, right? So if your gut isn't happy, it can cause issues in the body that manifest in the form of inflammation, stress, ailments, sickness, and other things. Most of the chemicals that you find in your home that are most harmful are actually found in your bathroom, your kitchen, and in a woman's purse. So they include products like shaving cream, shaving gel, aftershave lotion, razors, laundry soap, dishwashing soap, shampoo, conditioner, household cleaners, toothpaste, mouthwash, lotion, soap, and the government allows all of these ingredients that are harmful to you in your products. Let's think about our skin for a minute. Your skin is very absorptive. So when you are applying personal care products, they are getting absorbed and they are getting drawn directly into your bloodstream. Why is this a big deal? Because your skin does not have a digestive tract to filter those chemicals out. So you really need to be careful about what you're putting on your skin. The Toxic Control Substance Act was a U.S. law passed by Congress in 1976 to regulate the introduction of new and existing chemicals. When the law was first put into place, all existing chemicals were considered to be safe, even though they had grandfathered in over 60,000 chemicals with little to no knowledge of the effects that they had on the human body. That is insane to me. The government accepted an update to this act in 2006, but it's going to take years of study in order to determine what is actually considered safe. Also, the standards for what deems an ingredient safe or toxic is rather loose. Did you know that in order for a product or an ingredient to be labeled toxic, 50% of the rats that ingredient is tested on actually have to die in order for it to be labeled toxic? That's crazy. To me, 10%, 5%, any amount of deaths would deem a product, hey, that might be harmful. Maybe we should do some extra study on it. But the government standards are that 50% of the rats have to die in order for it to be deemed toxic. According to the EPA, that's the Environmental Protection Agency, of the nearly 3,000 top-selling chemicals in the United States, out of that, only 7% have a full set of toxicity information. Folks, that's just over 200. Out of the 3,000 top-selling chemicals, we only have a full set of toxicity information on just over 200 of those chemicals. In 1938, the cosmetic industry was granted self-regulation, meaning there are over 25,000 chemicals marketed to you without government intervention, regardless of what the tests are showing. This should be really, really important to women, especially because this makes cosmetic companies, fragrance companies, able to not be very honest with you and disclose all of the ingredients that are in the products that you are using. Okay, so I just want you guys to be really aware of that. An investigation of more than 1,700 children's body care products found that 81% of those that were marked gentle or hypoallergenic actually contained allergens or skin and eye irritants. These are products that you're putting on your infants and your young children. So think about how fragile their immune system is. Think about how much more their body has to fight in order to get these chemicals out of their system than an adult would. We're slathering them in powders and lotions and creams and oils every single day. So before I had my own children, I had a stepdaughter, but she was much older, so this wasn't exactly relevant to her, but it still had some relevancy. But before then, I wasn't as concerned about obviously infants because I didn't have one of my own. But once I did, the great thing is that I had already started on this toxic-free lifestyle living, and so I was already on the right track. But for many other people, it's maddening to see that the government is allowing these really harsh chemicals, especially in products that we're putting on our young babies, because it's affecting their health in a really, really terrible way, and most parents don't even realize it. PubMed.gov has over 13,000 articles about how articles and studies about how you can figure out what products are toxic and what products are actually safe. So that's a really good resource for you to get into. But you know, it's no secret that cancer rates and other diseases are on the rise. In the period of about 50 years, beginning back in 1940, cancer rates rose in every category, and the American Cancer Society estimated that those rates would rise another 50% in the next 4 years. There are close to 90% of cancers that are actually caused by environmental factors rather than genetic factors. That includes exposures to carcinogenic materials that are found in common household products. Now, that statistic is coming directly from the American Cancer Society. They are actually, I read on their website that they actually said that most cancers today are not genetic, they're actually caused by environmental factors. So that should be a huge red flag to you already and should make you want to start removing those products out of your house. While you think you may be buying green, clean, healthy foods and products, your house could be a breeding ground for many chemicals to disrupt your overall health. So if you are suffering from fatigue, allergies, migraines, sinus issues, asthma, thyroid issues, skin issues, anything like that, it would be really wise to take a look at what is inside your home, because there inside your home, or even your office if you work in an office environment, that air is actually more toxic than the air outside. Why is that? It's because we keep the windows and the doors shut, and all of those chemicals, all those fragrances, all those toxins that we're using every single day are building up. They're floating in the air, and they're building up this toxicity in your home and your office, where we're spending 90% of our time. There are only so many toxins that your body can take before it starts to spill over and create symptoms in the body. Symptoms like endocrine shutdown, hormonal imbalance, neurological disorders, headaches. There's a whole gamut, and it could be anything as minor as a headache all the way up to your body actually shutting down. Chemicals interrupt the endocrine center and act as a hindrance to the body's normal balance of hormones. They're the leading cause of birth defects and uncontrolled abnormal cell growth. In addition, they're also resistant to bacteria. So if they're resistant to bacteria, you going to the doctor and getting antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic after medication after antibiotic after medication after medication, it's not helping at all because they are resistant to bacteria. So there is a whole list of toxic chemicals that you should be avoiding. However, we're not going to get through that in this video, but there are lots of chemicals to stay away from, and you can find that research by doing a quick Google search or going through pubmed.gov. But again, I would read your labels, and I would make sure that the products that you're using are safe for you. And make sure that you're using a website that's also non-biased, because that's also really important. A lot of companies have been bought by these drug companies or these companies that use lots of chemicals to make their products seem like they're better for you than they really are. If this information is not staggering enough for you to start making changes, as little as those changes may be, I want you to hear this. Okay, this is crazy to me. When I first heard it, it blew my mind. But the United States has 1.3% of the world's total population. Okay, so 1.3% of the world's total population comes from the United States, right? But we as Americans in the United States, we are using 24% of the world's total pesticides. Guys, this is not even close to being balanced. 1.3% of the population, but we're using 24% of the world's total pesticides. This is crazy. And according to the CDC, more than 200 high-volume synthetic chemicals can be found in the bodies of nearly all Americans, including newborn infants. So if you're thinking, okay, well, I only use a little bit, or I only use this chemical, or there's only one chemical in my product, or whatever the case may be, you're right. It could be that you're only using a little bit, but your body responds to repetition, and the consistency of good things repeated is fine, but when you're using these chemical-laden products, you're developing a consistency of bad things, a consistency of chemicals. You're building a toxic load, and the reason that it's a big deal isn't because of the small amount, but it's because of the repetition over and over and over. Your body is eventually going to shut down, okay? So it's really important that we are mindful about detoxing our home and our life. And I'm going to give you 5 quick, easy steps on how you can do that. The very first one is to replace all household products that have harsh chemicals in them. So again, we talked about reading labels. Read the labels of all of your products, because there are marketing geniuses out there who are hired to market products to you so that you think that what you're buying is good, and it really isn't. Okay, so make sure that you're reading the labels, do your research, be your own expert. Replace all of your harsh household cleaners with plant-based clean cleaners. Also, number 2, replace all of your personal care products. So this is not just specific to women, because men use personal care products too. When I'm talking about personal care products, I'm talking about toothpaste, mouthwash, shave lotion, aftershave gel, soap, anything that you put personally on your body. These are your personal care products, and these are things that you really need to replace in your arsenal. The third one is to remove all candles, air fresheners, room sprays, all of those things. They're very, very toxic to your home, and you're breathing those chemicals in each and every day that you use them, and so that's doing damage to your lungs. So remove all candles, air fresheners, plug-ins, room sprays, all of those things. And then fourth, open your windows, open your doors, make sure you're getting all the sunlight into your house, make sure your house is able to breathe. Because if your house can't breathe, remember all of those toxins that you're using, they're just floating around in the air and you're breathing them in and it's doing damage to your body. Number 5 is to change your diet. Now this is really important because there are a lot of people who stick to, or they are drawn to, fad diets, or they're drawn to the latest and greatest pill that'll help them lose 50 pounds, or whatever the case is. But you need to make lifestyle changes. You need to be very intentional about what you're putting in your body and on or around your body. So changing your diet is number 5. It's really, really important for you guys to make sure that the things that you're putting in your body are still good for you. So you can join our community of friends. We have groups on Facebook. We just want to help educate, motivate, and empower you to live your happy and healthiest life. Look out in your email for more tips on chemicals to stay away from, along with other things that you can do to make sure that you are completely toxic free and have detoxed your home. So hope this information was helpful to you. We'll talk to you next time. Bye!